Good morning, everyone. I'm Xavier from France, and I'm the 10% legal person within MyData 2018, and I'm in data protection for GRDF. So mainly I will speak on GDPR and on consent and all those kind of things. Quickly, who we are. So GRDF, that the 2015 key data. Mainly what misses on this slide is we have installed around 1 million smart meter right now in France. So it's called Gaspar. It's yellow and it's very cool. And there is also something related to data and our company strategy is that biogas injection facilities will be around 100 at the end of this year, and we expect to have 30% of green gas in our grid by 2030, which means we will go from a centralized data analysis grid and data production, to some more decentralized data production with the gas injection. So if I go back to my work, which is data protection, we have 11 million clients and we have 12,000 employees. So huge amount of data, not all related to energy data, but lots of data. What is our role in the data provision? So we are in a monopoly on the gas distribution. So we have all the data related to the 11 million clients who consumes gas, and we have an obligation to publish some of this data in an open data way. That's first of all. We have also an obligation to get green and to ease how to get green within France. So gas is a low carbon emission vehicle, and so we need to increase the gas consumption, but also to permit every kind of green technology to come into the grid, gas grid, and into the general energy market. And also we have to be in full conformity with all the regulation. So that's the current regulation, still open data, GDPR, green effects, Paris Convention, competition law, as we are in the monopoly. So we need to speak to everybody in the same way. So that's the current legislation. But what is going to happen tomorrow on the energy market, on the data market, I don't know, we don't know, but we need to be in full conformity of all of that due to our monopoly. What we try to achieve? We try to facilitate access to the data. So data provision through open data, through different ways, to the end users, to the local collectivities, and to companies. We try to support all actors involved in the energy management, and I will come back later to this. But we also have to guarantee data security and confidentiality, so that's the privacy of the data, with kind of schizophrenic way, which is my job to be sure that the open data is not a personal data, and that personal data could be in open data. That's something else. So, what are the solutions right now within the company to try to facilitate all that? First of all, something very, very new, a personal space. It's true. It's not very new. But what we try really to emphasize in this personal space is not, okay, you get access to your own data, consumption data. Perfect, but not really interesting for everybody. You know that you are using gas, electricity, whatever, when you cook, when you take a bath. Well, interesting stuff. But what we really try to do, and with the GDPR coming on, we are really think of this, is to have a focus on transparency. And this is what is on the personal space of our consumer. You know who has access to your data, when, and what. Because one of our particularity is that all the suppliers, gas suppliers, do have access to some of the data of the consumer. And we, as we do not know, really know the end user consumer, we have to put this information, firstly, this information on the personal space. So you will know that your supplier has access, but also the competitors have access, or have access to some of the data. You will know when, and you will know what kind of data they have access. And then, this is still something going on, you will have clear views on subscription, and you will have the right to opt in and opt out of this kind of subscription. So you will, through this personal space, be able to say, okay, I do not want anymore to have this service provider getting access to my data, or I do want to have this service provider getting access to my data. So that's, let's say, classic way. But how to deal with the other actors? And that's mostly the important actors, because that's the companies, that's the startup, that's the cities, that's, let's say, the big stakeholders in energy management, with how to improve existing services and how we can ease the development of emerging services. I will not go through all the services, but you see that there is lots of things going on and lots of answers to give to people. So we have launched a project called ADDICT, which means Accès aux données individuelles climat arbitraires. It's not something that we try to get addictive. So it's an API. I will not enter into all these things as I'm not a technical man. But really we have tried to, let's say, automated processes, really emphasis on consent and how to be sure that the end user has really get the information that someone will access to his data and will do something with his data, and try to answer to many different use cases. So that's how we try to get the consent and how we try to, let's say, flag the consent. So the end users, through the service providers or through directly GRDF, says, okay, I want to share my data with someone for this kind of purposes. We will control in some way this, and then only give access to the service providers of the required data. So that's mainly how we deal with GDPR, consent, and information obligation for the end user consumers. These are all the stakeholders interested in the ADDICT project. There are startups, there are big cities, French cities, there are utilities, there are energy providers, there are lots of people interested in the project. And we have lots of discussion on how do we give information to the end user, how do we support them on the consent, on the data, on what's going on with the data, the energy data. Rapidly, and really that's the conclusion. So Eco CO2 and OMIS have answered to some question around the project. And really, in a nutshell, and as a conclusion, this is the takeaway of my presentations. Without support, data access do not bring full awareness related to energy issues. Client with the control of his data will be able to choose the better service for him. But without trust, the client will not take advantage of his data. And MyData, so that's what we try to say, is a clear way to give confidence to the client in service and the use of his data. Thank you very much.